Let me demonstrate to you that the quadratic formula, which is used to solve any second degree equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, the quadratic formula, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, let me prove to you that it is accurate. It's always going to give you the correct answer to that equation. And I'm going to do that by taking the second degree equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, and I'm going to solve it by completing the square. We already know that process of completing the square. We're just going to use the process on a generalized form of a second degree equation. And the end result will be the quadratic formula. Okay, so we're going to start with the equation, and we're going to do the first step in solving by completing the square. We're going to isolate the x squared and the x term on the left side by moving c to the other side. Next, we're going to prepare to eliminate the coefficient that's multiplying x squared by factoring that coefficient a out of the parenthesis on the left side. Now, you'll notice that it was a little tricky to do this. It was easy to factor the a out of the first term, ax squared. But it wasn't so easy to factor it out of bx. When you factor the a out of bx, you're left with b over a times x. How do I know that's true? If I distribute the multiplication to the two terms in the parentheses, I'll end up with ax squared plus bx because the a's will cancel on the second term. Okay, so that's the result of factoring out the coefficient of x squared from the entire left side. Now I'm going to eliminate that coefficient a by dividing both sides by a. And that leaves me x squared plus b over a times x equals negative c over a. All right, the next step is to add to both sides, bracket 1/2 the coefficient of the x term, which is positive b over a, and square it. So write down the left side, x squared plus b over a times x. Now add bracket 1/2 the coefficient b over a, close your bracket, and square it. Now add that value to the other side also. And you're adding that to, let's see, minus c over a. Okay, now we're ready to, simplify inside the bracket. b over 2a is the simplification of the interior of the bracket. Okay, now we're ready to factor on the left side. So using the exact same formula that we use in the examples, we are going to factor the left-hand side. It's equivalent to taking parenthesis x plus the value in the bracket, including the sign, b over 2a, and then squaring the parenthesis. On the right side, we're just going to simplify. Square the top and bottom of the bracket, and then get a common denominator for the second term. Now combine the two terms together on the right side. Since they have a common denominator now, just do the operation of subtraction across the top, b squared minus 4ac over the common denominator, 4a squared. Okay, so now we have an expression in parentheses squared equals a single value. So we get rid of the square by taking plus or minus the square root of both sides. That gives us x plus b over 2a equals plus or minus. We'll bust up the square root top and bottom here, square root of the top over square root of the bottom. Now let's simplify the right side and move the b over 2a to the other side by subtracting it from both sides. We're trying to isolate the x. Okay, so we simplify the denominator here, and check it out. We have a common denominator here. We're adding and subtracting two fractions that have a common denominator, so we can go ahead and write this over a single version of the common denominator, and we end up with x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Doesn't that sound familiar to you? That is the quadratic formula. And we acquired it by completing the square, so now we truly believe in it.